fancy new countdown timer, as you can see, and we are live for Countdown to RSA with Bronwen Hudson and your host, yours truly, Trevor Van Worden. And hey, so say thanks for coming. I don't know if we got anybody. We probably don't, because this is a live show in the middle of the day on what I don't even know what day. What day is it? It's a Tuesday, right? I think. Is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what it is about me. I just lose track of the days, midweek sometimes. So, man, it's so great to so I met you a year ago. I went back through our DMs and I met you a year ago, and you had literally just started. You'd done a couple episodes of your own show, Cyber Standup, but I think at the time you might have had a different name for it. I can't remember exactly. No, because I referenced it in the DM. So you did have.
I think we had the name
at that time.
Yeah.
So here we are a year later. This is the first time that we've actually had a conversation.
I know.
A couple DMs here and there, maybe some, maybe a few, whatnot, back and forth and posts and stuff. But we're going to meet each other in real life.
I know.
In less than 2 weeks at a big party on May 5th. Marketing to say, ooh, right?
I'm rocking the shirt from last year, by the way. I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, look at that. See, man, I missed out on that. Dang. I need to see. I'd be wearing that right now. But no, I just got my cheapesttees.com t-shirt.
That's all right. You'll get one soon for this year.
Okay. Well, I can't wait. I literally can't wait to get out there. So I'm going to meet you, and I'm going to meet Gianna for the first time. I'm going to meet. I've already met Chrissy Camacho. She'll be there, I think.
Cool.
She's planning to be there. And Peter Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so many folks. Danny Wolf. Actually, I met Danny Wolf already once. I met her at Black Hat. Oh man, Suzanne Gurman, who's coming up next. Brother, just tons of folks. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. That's awesome. All right, so I had a whole list of great questions for you, but I want to intro this with a post that I shared with you. I tagged you in on last night from Christine Lee about how boring B2B is, right? And
it's such a good post. Yeah,
it was a great post. It was just like, and it's sort of in line with Tim Davidson's. He rants about that too. I don't know. Are you familiar with him?
No, I don't know him.
Okay, so he's great. He's famous for cutting fruit. Hello, Lauren Sermon. Welcome to the comments. So Tim Davidson is the fruit cutting dude, and so he's always doing this B2B, and he's like chopping up fruit. Right.
Fun. Great.
And it's his it's kind of his way to sort of counter the boring to boring thing. But Christine's like, hey, it's all boring. And the thought that I had, and the idea that I wanted to explore with you, and the motivation that I have for live streams, because we get. I don't want to say that this experience for, say, Lauren Sermon and all the people who didn't show, probably because they think it's too boring. Hey, Sean Keegan, Sean Keegan's my colleague. He'll be at the RSA event as well. Where was I? So it's not that our audience think that this is great. It's not boring for you and me, right? So let's unpack that for a minute.
Totally.
Like, what do you think? Do you think that we have a responsibility to sort of unbore ourselves at times?
Okay, so big yes on unboring ourselves. But so in one of our previous conversations, you made a great point, which is that the material itself, let's just say cybersecurity as a whole, the industry, the material, the platforms, it's complex. And honestly, some of it's boring, right? There's only so many ways that you can repackage the same exact information. But that said, as a marketer, as a creative individual, and I'm sure you feel the same way as well, that's kind of your job, right? Is to find creative and new ways to say the same material, right? You're looking for new ways to sell it. You're looking for new ways to provide the same information, because it's not just like B2B marketing isn't just one thing. It's not some essay that you're producing and everyone's using the same words. It's visuals, it's storytelling, it's video, it's advertising, it's media, it's conversations. It actually means a lot. So in some ways, I totally agree with Christina. Obviously, it's the same story if you go to Black Hat or RSA, and all of the, all of the jargon, all of the taglines are incredibly similar. And
Yeah.
as a marketer, I kind of get it. And I have a lot of empathy for those marketers on those teams because they were given a character count and they were given some messaging from, the product team, the DevOps engineers. So there's a lot of parameters on like how we can do that. But that doesn't stop me is I think where it goes, like, because social media in particular is a very creative and fun place to be. So there is a lot of room for experimentation and a lot of room for creativity within B2B marketing as well. But what do
Yeah.
you think as well? I want to hear your hot take.
Well, it's the notion that these the B2B is boring is really the driving force behind like why I do this live stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I did like a 30-second canned head talking head video a couple years ago, and it was I thought it was funny, and it was I had this character and his name was Wendell Webinar. And Wendell Webinar is a wig, and he's asleep, he's snoring, right? And me as the host, I'm like talking to Wendell. I'm saying, Wendell, what's the deal? And Wendell's asleep because we're asking him about webinars, right? I'm talking about B2B webinars, and they're so boring. I mean, I seriously get overcome with narcolepsy anytime I go to I look at at a webinar.
Sudden attack.
Yeah, it's like, oh, done. Okay, it doesn't even matter. And notable exception unless it's like hyper relevant to me. So Carrie Gard had she had a live stream last week that was by Heidi Ramich, and it was awesome. It was just really great. It was so on point for me. So I wasn't bored there, but for the most part, if I'm peripheral at all, it's just automatic. Oh, just gone immediately. So I empathize, right? With these buyers, right, who we're trying to reach ultimately, right? And my job at Infuse is to try to help my marketers reach their people with messages. So how do we engage them? And I'm like, lives are cool because they're risky, right? We don't know what's going to happen. I could totally glitch out. Like last week, I didn't have my virtual background didn't work, right? And you can kind of still see it's a little bit like I'm green ooze, right? But it didn't work at all. So I was just green. I was green back. And then you never know like what you're going to say. Can I hold a thought? Can I remember what it was like? Did I already talk about Tim Davidson? I'm not sure. Let's talk about it again. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. So it's like, or did we do that in the intro? And so all kinds of stuff can go wrong.
Yes.
A dog could bomb me. Last week, Peter Wheeler's, kid, and this isn't going wrong, but it's like legit. Like his child, Penelope, came in. And then when Lauren Sermon, who's here, right? Lauren, and she's a live pro, right? So Lauren Sermon has a show. It's awesome. She's been doing it forever. She has like sponsors and stuff. She's legit.
Killing it.
Well, I had her on my show a year ago, and her son Axel comes in and just bombs something. I don't know what it was. It knocked something off the wall, and she was just undaunted.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, boom. So, question that I have for you is, like, let's talk about your experience with lives, because you did say like you kind of backed off from doing lives yourself, or as part of your role at Uptycs, at least.
Yeah, that's right.
How's that gone, and what's been sort of your experience, with hosting and having a show and all that stuff?
Thank you. Yeah, so it's so fun to think about. Knocked over his pens. That's awesome. That's really funny.
He just came in and just bonked this. It was like a thing that was hanging on the wall and just bashed it. It was.
I love it.
I laughed my head off.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh no, is he okay? Because but I'm a dad. I know how these things.
Totally. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So when we first kind of connected a year ago, I had just been doing my first couple of lives on LinkedIn of Cybersecurity Standup, and it was really fun. And your advice was extremely helpful to me. I remember we had a little like chat, I think, and you gave me some great tips. You gave me a little countdown. And looking back on that, I was definitely trying to reinvent the wheel, like hardcore. I was like, I'm the first person to ever do this, and I will struggle through it as much as I can. So in retrospect, I really could have like done a lot more research before like trying to get things off the ground, but I just dove right in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I did probably 10 or so of my episodes as lives.
Mhm.
And as we're finding in this experience as well, I agree with you, Lauren. Live is authentic. That ability to try to hold a thought, try to not repeat yourself, try to be funny, engaging, like, oh my God, these like tactics that we're using in lives. It's crucial. But I did feel that sometimes, I mean, I'm talking about myself, but also my guests were getting a little sweaty during a live, because
Mhm.
it's this kind of, because of that risk factor, it's a little more pressure. And
Yeah.
especially in B2B and kind of like high pressure environments, and we are trying to stay secure in all these aspects as well, having a little bit more polish, a little bit more time to finagle things, just kind of
Mhm.
calmed it down a little bit. But the one thing that I've really taken from the live experience and tried to hold on to in the recorded experience is keeping it organic and keeping it casual. Because I completely agree with you. Where I don't want to go is to the webinar format, where it feels stagnant, it feels a little dry. I always have a Google Docs presentation ready to go. I don't want to do that. I want to have a regular conversation with people. I just
Mhm.
want it to be a straightforward thing where no one's actually worried, because the only reason you would be worried is because there's a microphone and camera in front of you. There's not an
Yeah.
actual worry about the interaction. So that's what I try to keep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you do such a great job of that. I love that snippet
Mm.
you put up recently about the flossing.
Ah,
That was like, how many teeth do you want to, how many teeth should I floss? How many teeth do you want to keep? Right. That was good. That was good. It's like authentic, right? Like we get that stuff.
yes.
Yeah. So I guess the thing that I like about just sticking with live for me at
Mm,
least, um, I kind of have this philosophy that that sales is the access point, right? Is
okay.
like it's truly like the access. So if you ever wanted to, engage with Infuse, like really wanted to, I'm the person you want. I'm like the first person to talk to, right?
True.
And I know about it. I know I got the inside track. I get you in. I can answer your questions. I can do all that good stuff. And I
Yeah.
feel like for me, at least with the lives, it allows that, right? So, you
Mm,
know, we could have this conversation, or somebody else could come in and they could find me and they could see me and they can kind of get a feel for like, okay, do I, am I trying to hustle somebody or trying to, work
yeah.
them over or something? And hopefully not, right? Hopefully they trust me and hopefully they feel like it's good. So as you moved into more of a recorded format, how has that gone? Has it been better, smoother? Have you seen the outcomes that you've been looking for and all that?
Big yes. It's been very successful, I think, for me and for my guests as well. I
Okay.
think one of the big sort of marketing specific
Hmm.
successful outcomes that I've encountered is that it's a lot easier to, as I'm recording, make notes and be like, this is going to make a great clip. Or, this is going to make a really good post. Or, wow, this whole conversation could be, unfolded into a longer blog post about this topic. And sometimes in lives, I get not scrambled, I guess, in a way, but it's just easier to lose your tack and kind of you're paying attention to comments, you're paying attention to like maybe what you look like in the camera. You have other priorities because you won't be able to go back in time and change those things. But when you have the fix it in post mentality, it just calms everything down a little bit. So clips and that kind of output has been a very beneficial thing. And then I think also it's just allowed me to, I think, provide a little more structure in the show
Mm.
overall. Because
Yeah.
even if you do send people, questions and things before, there's a little bit
Mhm.
more of just a time commitment to it as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
while we're going to be out at RSA, I am going to pass 50 episodes while we're out there because I'm going to be doing some live stuff out there. So yeah, it's been a year and almost exactly. Well, I mean, I'll definitely reach 52 by the time it's been a year. So I
Okay.
feel like
All
it's
right.
a success. Yeah.
So I mean, okay, you're a pro, right? You count, you're there, you qualify fully 50 episodes. By the time, I mean, I think, I hit 50 episodes a while back, but it you get kind of I mean, I get burnt out a little bit, so I'd like to take breaks and I like to invent new shows and come up with stuff and all that. And I think that's important because lives can be kind of exhausting. So again, hat tip to Lauren, who's just been just a force out here, continuing to commit to her show and do it every week. So, I mean, that's amazing. But 52, man, you're there, right? You're good. So now in terms of going live at RSA, What's the plan for that? How are you going to pull that off? Like
Yeah, totally. So it'll be booth side. So I'll be the Uptycs booth number 427. If you want to come by, that would be awesome.
okay.
The big news on there is that the Nerd Wall is back. So we will have all sorts of cool, collectible, vintage memorabilia, comic books, board games,
Mhm.
all the fun stuff
Okay.
from a local small business, Mission Comics and Art. Great
Okay.
guy. Leaf Smith is the owner of that shop. He's fabulous. He's so kind. He's going to be at the show as well, helping
Yeah.
with all of like the deep dive nerdy questions, which I'm really excited that he's there because then I don't have to make stuff up about Deadpool and that kind of thing. Very
Yeah.
helpful. And yeah, I'll kind of be on the opposite side of the booth. I'm gonna have my cute little travel setup. I'll probably
Mhm.
have some chairs, but it'll be just a travel, clip on
Yeah.
mic and my phone kind of thing. But
Mhm.
with tech today, that's kind of a pretty good setup, honestly. So
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to record. And yeah, I've got people booked in. If you want to be on the show and you're seeing this, hey Andrew, how's it going? You should totally come by. I
Okay.
know you will. I'll see you probably every day.
Yeah. No, because literally, my job is to see you every day. Right. That's it. That's what I
Yeah.
am paid. That is my job. So I'll
Great.
be coming by.
Book me
I'll be like,
in.
rooting and giving you, doing signs and stuff behind you so
Great.
that you keep a smile on. So
I love
awesome.
foam finger. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about doing a little bit of live work myself, but
Nice.
I haven't done like field live work, right?
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I don't trust. Like I tried to do some like video recording stuff back a few years ago, and I was was using a video recording app and I did it on my phone, and it was always glitch, right? Because the Wi-Fi
Mm,
was always and the data was always overwhelmed, and it was like right. So do you have issues with your streaming
great
in like
question.
at the Moscone?
Um, I will say I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, in part.
Okay.
Like, I
Okay.
definitely like to plan for both success and failure when it comes to the tech that I have available to me. In terms of planning for success, I like to have backups. So I know that I will have my computer with me all day, every day. And if need
Mhm.
be, I will find a way to get an Ethernet and plug that sucker in. Like that's my backup of all backups. What I have found though is that often my phone data is better than Wi Fi. Just because there are too many people on the Wi-Fi. So if I can do
Yeah.
that and have it be secure, then that's the way that I'll go. And that's the other benefit too of doing things as just like recording a video, even just as a video on your phone, not even through a recording platform, is that if
Mhm.
I mean you miss the opportunity to go live, but then you have good quality footage, which is really
Yeah.
the priority for me in terms of creating good content is having good quality footage. So the
Yeah.
backup is don't stream and just do everything on my phone, which is a great backup. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm, I don't know. I might do that. So are you confident that, I mean, I know you kind of said this, but my mind might have just kind of, did one of those. And so in terms of your setup, are you using the phone then to do the recording, or do you use
Uh-huh.
like a third party, like an attached cam kind of thing?
I'm just using my phone. Keep it real simple.
Okay. All right.
Because I
Cause I
feel
was,
like we carry enough gear around at RSA as well. And I'm not really great with like a lot of tech, honestly.
Mhm.
I don't have the budget or the know-how to get a camera like really set up and running in the way that
Yeah.
I want it in terms of quality. With what
Mhm.
I'm doing and the capabilities I have, my phone is great. I have a great camera, so like
Yeah.
it satisfies me. Yeah.
Yeah. And those mics are usually pretty solid too. Okay.
Totally. Yeah.
All right.
Totally.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
You're like, "I'm doing it fine."
I know, I know. I'm gonna at least I gotta have to test it. I have to go out in the yard or do something and fool around with
Oh,
it
I
and see.
test all the time. Yeah.
See, that's good. Good on you. Good on you. All right, so I'm gonna follow in your lead, but I also think those GoPros are pretty awesome. So I might just want to do that. I did get a monster battery. I think I showed this last
Oh,
week,
yeah.
but it's a beast. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So I got power, right? So I'm not going to
Smart.
go dead
Yep.
because you have pretty heavy use.
Yep.
And I got a backpack this year, so I'm not keeping the. I've had this. I used to be a pharmaceutical rep. Was my first job,
Oh, yeah.
and so I had a classic old drug rep bag, right? It was just a
That's funny.
and and frankly, that was great in 1999. I mean, or
Yeah.
whatever it was. Man, it sucks now. It's like too heavy. You can't carry. I got like 2 laptops and all the crap and whatnot, and too heavy, and I don't want to carry it. So I got finally upgraded. I got this sweet Swiss Gear backpack and stuff, and I know that that's not
Great
like
choice.
it's not gonna like meet all the the tech bro stuff in San Francisco, but alas, it's good for me, and I'm excited. So all right. So we got that. We got that kind of covered. We got cybersecurity standard. How's the health updates? I'm just going to go through my questions. All right. So
Okay.
I want to talk about you for a minute, right? In particular, because when I was going out and reminding myself, who is Bronwen? Why is she awesome? And I'm looking at this story you told about winning a scholarship from the Women in Cybersecurity group or something. I didn't know they had money. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently they do. Okay. Awesome. And you got some awesome and you went to ISC too, and you got a certificate. Awesome Okay. Wow. So unpack that story. I want to hear it. I want to hear like what you did, because I'll tell you why. But anyway, so go ahead.
I love it. I mean, I gotta say, you're a great hype man. It's like, wow, when you say it like that, ooh, really,
Well,
it's very simple. And I think actually, I'm glad you mentioned it because I think they're promoting the same scholarship packages and the partnership with ISC2 right now. So if you're
okay.
listening to this at any point in probably like April and May, and you want to know about this, great time. So yeah, WiCys, as they're known, Women in Cybersecurity, they're a nonprofit, they're a great organization, and they partnered, I think, with ISC 2 or ISC squared, I think as it used to be known,
Okay.
and they basically are providing. They have some great how do they phrase it? It's like 1 million people certified in cybersecurity by 2025 or whatever their sort of like
Mm,
goal is. And in
okay.
order to do that, yeah, they're just rolling out these packages of scholarships specifically for the ISC2 certified in cybersecurity cert, which to be completely transparent, I would say is probably the most basic one they offer.
Okay.
And I had a great time. It's just, Coursera style online learning. You take this
Yeah.
course, you go through all of the modules. And then the main difference between like an ISC2 cert and a Coursera course is that you do have to go to a testing facility. You got to book
Mm,
in your time. You go to a testing facility, you put all your stuff in a locker, including all of your, bits and pieces, and you can't bring a pencil in, all this kind of stuff. And you go in
yeah.
and take the test, which I would say is the absolute worst part of it, right? That testing center, oh my God, I will be happy if I never have to go in there ever again. It's just like so anxiety inducing walking into a
Mhm.
space like that. But
Mhm.
that aside, the course was informative. The
Mm,
course was a tiny bit boring. I'll just be
okay.
totally candid there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think one of the reasons I was so excited to get that scholarship and take it is because I don't have any other certs when it comes to specifically cybersecurity. The way that I
Okay.
came up was through technical writing. So I'm self-taught in many different ways, which I know is a common thing for this industry, but I
Mhm.
wanted to know what it was like to kind of go
Yeah.
down the other path and get a cert, see what that
Yeah.
felt like, make sure that I had the right information, was using the right jargon. And it's hard sometimes to find an entry point that actually works for you. Like a lot of
Mhm.
the conversations around breaking into cybersecurity or what it's like to do that, it's really hard. I don't think enough people are saying like, keep trying this. It's just hard to find a path that works for you. And whether it's YouTube
Mhm.
videos or a basic cert or reading a book, finding that that path that works for you is crucial. So I wanted to know if the certs path was for me, basically. And yeah,
Okay.
big shout out to WiCys for funding those opportunities because that's fantastic work they're doing.
Awesome. Okay. So congratulations on finding a path and then going down to the end of it. Well
Passed
done.
it.
And so that was about 8 months ago, right? So at
Oh,
least that was when you posted about it.
yeah,
So according to LinkedIn, I mean, maybe it was last week. I don't know. But in any case,
accurate. Yeah.
the, so the question is then how, and really relative to what what kind of where we are, which is to try to make it easier for cybersecurity buyers to figure out what to do, right? Like, how do you choose a vendor? How do you know who's legit? How do you know who's actually solving a real problem? How do you
Yeah.
know like I'll figure that stuff out? Because I've to be transparent, I started my own course, right? It was a Google's course in, I think it was Coursera.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to put that on pause just because I've got some other stuff going on that I just didn't have time to focus on it right now. But
Mm.
the idea was like, look, if I can put myself in the shoes, or at least sort of, or like, you know, whatever, at least as many as close as I can to what this, an IT security pro is dealing with,
Yeah.
right? Then maybe I can do a better job at helping my marketers that I work with craft messages and so on. So, has it is that true? Is that a fantasy? Have you felt like that has helped you?
Yeah, I love this question because to me it gets at something incredibly crucial in marketing in any field, but specifically one that is like complex and that where the marketer is probably doing an incredibly different job to the person they're trying to market for.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I think that you might find resonates with you is that I think that empathy should be an omnidirectional marketing tool.
Mm.
So when I am going to, let's say, a DevOps engineer or I don't know, a cloud security expert, something like this, some title that I'm very sure that I do not have the same knowledge base as they do. I
Yeah.
want to go in being able to ask questions and really listen to the answers and pay attention to them and promise them that I'm willing to learn. Like that's the crucial moment of like, can you give me information? Because I promise I'll take it. However, I also want that to be a reciprocal relationship because the best case scenario is that they also are able to learn from me. I'm able to tell them what I need or what my goal is, be able to adequately express that and have them see why I want whatever I need. 10 words that explain this product, this kind of thing. Bye, Sean. And then the piece that I'll add to that is that the reason that relationship between like key marketer and key product provider or engineer is so crucial is the reality is it extends a different direction to the person we are both trying to market to. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's actually we're having a conversation and trying to make this open, but our combined goal is a third party who's not usually in the room with us. So making
Yeah.
sure that we can understand each other will make it so much easier to provide like honest and authentic and exciting messaging towards the person who actually wants our product. Like it's a matter of not only finding that person but being able to truly tell them what they need to know. And
Yeah.
that is not just a conversation that can come from one of us. It has to come from both.
Okay. All right. I'm buying that. All right. But it tips off something because you said not in the room, but here you are, right? You've got a new role, right? As of February, you go from social media manager, right? Which is kind of two-way, mostly one-way communication in B2B at least.
Yeah.
Community manager, which implicitly says or explicitly says, look, we have community, it's accessible, and this is a conversation.
Yeah.
So is that like my own sort of manufactured definition, or how are you approaching that, and what does it even mean? Like, what is the new role?
Great questions again. So, yeah, a lot of the projects that I was working on as social media manager continue into this role. So, one of the main things being my podcast, Cybersecurity Standup. And what I have come to realize is that there are so many ways that community manifests itself. It manifests
Yeah.
itself at the coffee shop down the road where you see your baristas every day. It's LinkedIn communities, it's Discord chats. Community is actually everywhere. What's
Mhm.
hard is creating a new community. But what's
Mm.
very convenient and wonderful about the cybersecurity industry is that there are already so many thriving communities. Like, not only is there sort of like the mentality of open source and like knowledge sharing, but there are practically speaking a lot of different communities that people can very easily tap into, whether it's Slack groups or YouTube channels that have a lot of discourse, that kind of thing. Reddit threads,
Mhm.
and sub communities. So lots of things already exist. And what I really like about this new role is that I'm able to like dive into all of those and see which
Mm.
avenues are actually going to be sort of productive from a marketing standpoint. That's absolutely part of it. But also what's productive from a community building standpoint. Like, how
Okay.
do you actually connect with people? Who are the people you want to connect with and why? What are
Mm.
what are they using? What are the platforms? Like, what do they find important? What kind of humor do they find actually funny? Like, is it
Mm.
memes or not? What are we talking here?
Yeah.
Um, and also communities that are like queer communities, or female centric communities, and like other sort of subgroups and minority groups within cyber, to be able to provide access points into this industry. Those are also really important to me. So from the role perspective, I'm responsible for a lot of the paid and organic communities that Uptycs is part of. There are quite a few of each, and they all have like benefits in so many different ways. The podcast is a huge part of it as well. I have to say, I'm also responsible for the webinars program. Don't worry, I'm trying to make those more exciting on a day-to-day basis.
I just fell asleep.
Yeah. But then also, honestly, being able to do stuff like this, right? Like, this is actually community building. We are putting ourselves out there, saying hi to the people who are in our worlds, and talking about what matters. Yeah.
I like this this idea, because when I was thinking about what the thing that came to mind when I first saw community manager, right? What I thought of was, oh, okay, Uptycs is going to start up its own Slack community, or WhatsApp, or Mighty Networks, or Circle, or whatever, right? Some going to spin that up, and they're going to invite a bunch of customers in there, and you're going to be in charge of making sure the conversation continues to happen.
Right.
And Peter Wheeler and I talked a little bit about that last week, but that sounds like that's sort of not really the emphasis here, right? Like, you're going out and figuring out, oh, okay, these people that I want to talk to are hanging out over here and hanging out over there, and they're doing this, and we're either part of that conversation, or we're not part of that conversation. And so then your role is to manage that, right?
Yeah.
Manage that an understanding of that, right?
Absolutely.
More or less.
You make a great point too, because we might create our own community, honestly, with the Uptycs has amazing threat research. We have an entire team of people who are producing incredibly in-depth, free, really, really high-level material. And I see a ton of value in that material, and being able to disseminate it to the community of people who want it, who need it, who are also threat researchers and are like, oh my God, give me this. Yeah. So there's absolutely, utility in creating your own community, because you know that there are people who would benefit from the things, the knowledge, the resources that you have to provide. But I think that is sometimes a little bit of a pitfall for companies who are like, well, we have to do our own. Someone else, a competitor, has done it, so we have to do our own. But why? Why is the question? And if there are already communities who are essentially doing that, why wouldn't you just try to get involved and help other people that way? So that's I feel quite passionately about that too.
Yeah, well, I can tell it's really coming through. It's and I think that's pretty evolved, right? So it's congruent with what's real, right? People, humans, an individual, an IT security professional can only handle so many. It's like, that's it. And I that makes sense. It's like logical. Oh, well, let's go find them. Let's go meet their needs where they are, and or at least die trying. And right, take the threat research to them, and and do that stuff. I mean, it's like, okay, in my case, I'm just thinking it out loud here. It's like, well, why, Trevor, did you want to go to the Cybersecurity Marketing Society party? Well, because that's a community of my customers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
They're there and they're excited. They want to be there. Okay. Well, why don't I just go join them?
Beautiful. What a great idea.
Yeah. What? And we're going to eat Wagyu beef. It's going to be great.
Is that really on the menu?
Yeah. Gianna.
Pop off, Gianna.
She posted about it the other day. All right, so let's shift over to that. Let's talk about RSA, because we got about 10 minutes left. So this is your second go at RSA, if I correct. Okay, so it's like, I was trying to count last night. So I was there in 2018, 2019, and 2020. So I like, literally, I'm flying out of it was an early show that year in 2020.
Okay.
And I'm flying out of San Francisco that night that they declare a state of emergency in the city because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And the airport was empty.
Whoa.
I mean, there was like, I was like one person at the Alaska Airlines terminal at the airport, and just like, it was really weird. Yeah, and so I just like sneaked out, and I remember there a lot of people got COVID at RSA that year, and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Then
Mm.
21 skipped, I think 22 I was there again, and it was awesome. It was such a great show. Had a great time, met so many people. It was all about content, how we're going to use content, and it was great. I had many productive conversations. And then I go home, and the next week, it was June of 22, and
Okay.
the wheels fell off the tech bus.
Yeah, right.
Like across the board. It was like the tech industry got hit with a tidal wave of decimation. I mean, just I couldn't get a hold of anybody. Like everybody just went away. It was insane, and it was really hard that summer.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like looking at each other like our budgets are gone, and then the layoffs started later that fall. But if you were paying any attention at all, it was happening. And by the time Black Hat rolled around in August, I mean, it was the tenor was so dark and gloomy, and everybody was mad, and it was tough, right?
Oh
So
man.
it was nice to meet some friends anyway at that show, but that whole summer was just a disaster. So I didn't go last year, right? So
Gotcha.
I missed RSA last year, and I was kind of bummed about it. So that's
Yeah.
my story. That's why I'm so excited about about going this
Totally.
year. Right? 'Cause I feel like we're kind of I mean, maybe not normal. We're still waiting for interest rate cuts, and how they're going to come or not. And I don't know. We got AI now. I got to deal with that, and some different stories. But this is your second show, kind of. So, what are you like? I guess just personally amped about, and what do you want to do again? Maybe you did last year. Besides the party, like I don't know, places you want to go and see, and so on.
Totally. I mean, I learned so much from just last year's show alone.
Hmm.
Not only things about like, where is Moscone and how do I get from X to Y, but
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot about being able to set good boundaries for myself because I gotta say, I will burn out so fast. I'm one of
Mhm.
those secret introverts. Like if you see me in real life, I'm gonna be peppy, hopefully. I'm gonna be, cheerful, and like that's a huge part of me. But
Mhm.
to keep that part of me stable and happy, I gotta go lie down alone for some time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I
Yeah.
really have to rejuvenate. And last year I just didn't do any of that.
Mm.
I just bombed it in a good way, just like high
Mhm.
energy the entire time. So can
Mhm.
feel myself being excited to have boundaries this time because I will actually be a
Okay.
better version of myself when I allow myself that. Um, that said, I do have like events basically every night that I'm headed to, which I'm super excited about. A couple that I will give particular shout outs to that are like top of my list is the Mind Over Cyber Mindfulness breakfast on
Mm.
the morning of Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Which is
excited.
full, by the way, which is full.
Yeah,
So if you can't make the mind over mindfulness breakfast, come and join me at Phil's, because that's where I'll be mindfully thinking about.
you can be mindful
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and all that crew who are organizing that, like great people doing
Yeah.
great work in an industry that really needs it. What could be
Mhm.
better? That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm also headed to Jen Antwerp's event, the Sober in Cyber Mocktails event, I think on
Okay.
Wednesday evening.
Mhm.
Super stoked
Mhm.
about that one. Again, same vibe, great people doing great work in an industry that needs it. That's literally just phenomenal. And
Okay.
I'm also headed to, I think on Monday morning, Vision and Voice. It's a women in cyber event. If you're seeing this, please feel free to get in touch with me about like any of these. Happy to drop you links. But that'll be another breakfast opportunity. A lot of these are networking specific,
Yeah.
but with these groups that I really want to connect with, which is just the best. And I will say that my friend Crystal, shout out to Crystal, I'm going to see you this year as well. She goes sometimes to a spa during
Mhm.
RSA and has like a
Mhm.
spa morning, maybe gets a massage, that kind of thing. And I think that might be the hack this year for me that I take a morning off if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to, but sneaking a massage into RSA sounds like a really good idea.
One, I'm not going to say how I know this, but I know that, so Nordstrom is like, just a few blocks away from
Uh
Moscone,
huh.
right? It's an easy walk, and they have a spa. Just saying.
What kind of facilities are we talking? Are we talking hot tub? Are we talking hot stone
Well,
massage?
okay. So, but it's full. It's like a full body plus like pretty high end facials and stuff. So
Wow.
I happen to know that.
Okay, well, that makes me feel like I've got options close
Yeah, it's
by.
close. And it's pretty bougie, but still, whatever. It's
Yeah.
nice. You will get
Good tip. Good tip.
yeah, it's there. It's usually fairly easy access, and they do a good job of really shutting out everything. It's not about
Yes.
RSA. It's you. Yeah, it's yeah. I just happen to know that. Let's say. So okay, so we covered that. Got great events. Jen Antwerp, I know her. Met her at B2BMX. So yeah,
Nice.
so there we go. All right. Now, the biggest question though is okay, the Cybersecurity Marketing Society party ends at 7:30 p.m.
It's true.
Now it's a Sunday.
True.
Okay. But I am not going to be done partying at 7:30 p.m. I mean, I know I'm getting a little old, but 7:30, come on. Like, what are you going to do after that? Kind of fill me in. Are you going to go back to the hotel and just check out and just be like, get all geared up for Monday and so on? Or are you going to go out and hit the town?
Paint the town red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good question. I wish I had like a yay or nay answer for you, but I think I'll have to play it by ear. I think I'll have to just see like that Sunday is the first day that we can set up the booth and stuff. So I feel like a lot of things will happen that day. Cybersecurity Marketing Saturday, I'm looking forward to it so much. Like so many awesome people are going to be there that you're right. No, you're right. You're so right. At 7:30, we're all going to want to keep talking and hanging out. So where's the group going? That's really the question we got to pin down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chrissy said the Marriott might be good. She likes that because you can see that there's the view and everything is really pretty phenomenal.
Nice.
So maybe we'll end up there.
Very true.
And it's the Marriott's kind of a big brand, but it's still legit. I mean, it's got a nice view. That's the absolute truth. Now I'm staying up in Japantown, so not really in walking distance. So I don't really have any idea if what the vibe is up there on a Sunday night. But I'm planning to be, ready to go and ready to have a good time. So, all right. So let's call it because your video has locked up on me, my friend.
All right. Cool.
We are in a frozen pixelated state.
Oh no.
I love live shows for that. Man, that's so great. Okay. Let's see if we can no fixing it. Oh wait, you're back.
Okay. Oh, I'm back? All right.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. We're flashing.
Just had to wiggle me around.
Yeah. Let's wiggle it. Okay. So with that, I want to say, Bronwen, it has been a real treat to have you on Countdown to RSAC 2024. I want to say, hey, I wish you the best, safe travels and all that good stuff. And I will see you the evening of May 5th. And in and around, I'll come by and, jump up and down and make silly gestures at your show to make your live. Maybe I'll just bomb it. There you go.
Do it. Kool-Aid Man into there. Yeah.
I'll just walk back.
Moonwalk in the back. That'd be cool.
There you go. Oh, okay. All kinds of fun we can have. Okay. All right. With that, any parting word for our one guest who's still with us?
Thank you, one guest, whoever you are. I appreciate you so much. And Trevor, thank you so much for having me on. It's just a complete treat to talk with you and to get some good vibes about RSA out there and get some good conversations happening. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. So, and for old time's sake, I'm going to run a count up timer, and that will be that. And have an awesome afternoon. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, y'all.